welcome to the FSA Education Channel. I'm Rebecca Mandeville, psychotherapist and author of Rejected, Shamed, and Blamed, Help and Hope for Adults in the Family Scapegoat Role. And this week, I'd like to talk about some of the truly bizarre realities that adult survivors of family scapegoating live with. And many of these are verified through my research on what I name family scapegoating abuse. And I also get lots of reports from clients that they go through these same kinds of bizarre experiences. So stick around, you might relate to some of these and you might not feel so alone. Here's one of the first bizarre realities that an FSA adult survivor may be experiencing. And that is, you can become very successful, and you might be a doctor, a scientist, head of a university program, a journalist with a high profile, a celebrity, a YouTube influencer, something where you've made some visible accomplishments. And whereas in a healthy, functional family, a family would celebrate your successes and accomplishments and would be proud of you and let you know that they're proud of you. This doesn't happen in dysfunctional families or narcissistic families that scapegoat. What happens instead is often you will have your accomplishments completely ignored or dismissed. If you're an expert in your field, for example, you won't be acknowledged as being an expert in your field, even if someone in the family could benefit from it. If, for example, I have a client who's an oncologist and a specialist in a certain type of cancer, and when a family member got that type of cancer, they never called my client to get help or advice. And this doctor's world recognized, because in his family, he's not capable of being a successful, accomplished adult, because the family narrative, the scapegoat narrative, dictates that he be seen as honestly, in this case, he's, according to the family, he's crazy and he's fooling everybody. Despite his great accomplishments. So this is the type of realities that if you're scapegoated by your family, you might be living with. And you're not alone, as I said in the introduction. And my clients are often surprised to find out that other people are experiencing things like this, because there can be a lot of toxic shame, deeply embedded shame that you might not even know you have, when you are so dismissed as a person, as a human being, and even your accomplishments in life, where you've contributing to society and maybe making a great impact on people. And this is, it's as if it doesn't exist in your family's reality. And that can feel very confusing and very shaming. And that is why I mentioned in my book, many scapegoated adults have impostor syndrome. Impostor syndrome is actually supported by peer-reviewed research, and that's where you, no matter how much you've accomplished, you think secretly you're fake and you're afraid people will find out. And if you grew up in this kind of family, your family's made it clear they think you're a fake. So there's a reason that you're afraid other people are going to think the same thing. Let's go on to bizarre reality number 2. a second bizarre thing that gets reported often through my research and with my clients, and that is when someone is married and it turns out to be a very dysfunctional or even abusive or openly abusive relationship, the scapegoated adults reports to their family about what they're experiencing in their relationship or in their marriage is just frankly not believed. So the people that you think you can turn to for support not only do not care to support you, they often will support the spouse or the partner. And this can happen even when there's clear evidence of abuse going on or clear evidence of dysfunction that's gotten to the point where there could be harm caused to multiple family members. For example, when someone might be drinking alcoholically and engaging in dangerous behaviors, or a spouse might be having an affair, lying about it. And, you know, in a healthy family, you could turn to your family and they would be there for you and want to help. In a scapegoating family, they often reach out to the spouse to say that you're saying all these crazy things, and that they have the back of the spouse and they're there to support the spouse. Now think about that. If you're from a healthy family and you're watching this, I mean, this might not even compute, but this is kind of a standard reality, verified again by lots of research. I've personally been researching on family scapegoating abuse, since I was a professor in grad school, and then I've worked with clients for over 20 years, and this is one of the things I specialize in. This comes up a lot. So there also can be scapegoating by the partner or the spouse, and the families believing the partner's reports and not the reports of the person who's actually experiencing the abuse or being harmed by the dysfunction. Let's go to the next bizarre reality. This next reality ties in a bit to the first one I mentioned about your successes aren't acknowledged, and in fact you're seen as almost like you've fooled everyone to get where you are. This one is more related to no matter what you do, it's not good enough. And I want to be a little bit more specific in the types of events that can happen. And again, I'll share something that happened to a client. I have a client who's a professional opera singer. It's not easy to become. It's not easy to do because I'm a unprofessional opera singer. I do little recitals for my friends, but this is a professional opera singer. And she called her mother, who's elderly and can't get out to the arts and concerts anymore. And she had learned an extraordinarily difficult aria, and maybe it wasn't completely polished, but I mean, most any of us would think it was amazing, I'm sure, because I've heard her voice and I've heard her sing. And she decided she would sing to her mother over the phone, her elderly mother. And she sang this very difficult aria in her beautiful voice. And at the end, there was a moment of silence once again. And the mother said, these are her first words. The mother said, "I could hear you breathing." My client really didn't know she wanted to sing ever again after that. Now you'd say, now, how could that have hit her so hard? Because, you know, we're still carrying these little children that we were in there, hoping for, even if it's unconscious, hoping we'll one day have the parent that any child deserves to have. So we keep trying. We keep trying and thinking on some level, even though I know it seems irrational, we think maybe this time I'll get it. I'll get that love. I'll get that attention. I'll feel nurtured and supported and valued. It's rare that it happens. And again, I have to use the word tragic. It's a loss for the family that they have a gifted child or adult child or sibling, and that they can't celebrate that and share in those accomplishments. And it's tragic for the scapegoated adult. These are just 3 of the bizarre realities that I could talk about probably for hours, but I'm limited right now to 15-minute videos, and I'm starting a playlist called 15-minute videos where I'll be speaking about my experiences as a therapist and a researcher, and the commonalities that scapegoated adults live with. And I think it's really, really important, because one of the hardest things for clients when they come to me is they think they're all alone in what they're experiencing. And there's a tremendous amount of shame, even if they're not aware of it when they first come to me, toxic shame, which can be unconscious. And there's a pervasive sense of, even if it's unspoken, something's wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. Not all my clients, but many clients, they'll even say that there must be something wrong with me, no matter how amazing a life they have built for themselves. There's something wrong. There must be something wrong with me for my family to treat me that way. Well, guess what? There's not. So just take that shame and put it where it belongs, back into the hands of the people who cannot see your light, who cannot see your gifts, and who cannot see and celebrate who you are. And I'll be continuing this series of bizarre realities. I'll also be continuing my 5 myths. There's a lot more myths than just 5. So watch the 5 myths video. I'll post it here if you haven't already. And release the scapegoat narrative, release the toxic shame, and know that you can heal. I've worked with many, many, many people, and yes, you can heal from this. I'll be back soon, and I hope you'll join me by subscribing. Like this video, it gets YouTube's attention, and there's people who need to see these videos on scapegoating and also hear the family systems perspective. So I hope you'll support this channel by liking the video and subscribing. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did you relate to any of these situations? And do you have some bizarre realities that you want me to cover in a future video? Thanks for watching.